Boss said we must take lunch at 12 Honda. So we did at my old job. We used to have flexible lunch breaks at work. Could go anytime between 11:30 to Honda. Just made sure someone was covering. Worked fine. New manager comes in, says everyone must take lunch at exactly 12 Huncho, no exceptions. Okay then, 12 o'clock hits. We all just walk away. Phone's ringing, customers mid-sentence. Not our problem. Boss looked panicked, trying to handle it all. By the time we got back, it was a complete mess. Next day, new rule. Lunch between 11:30 and 2 o'clock is fine. Oh, so back to normal? Cool, boss. Some folks aren't meant to manage. Yep, dude tried to fix what wasn't broken and broke it instead. That's why we call them manglement. Fun fact, there's a Yiddish word, Farpochkeit, which means something broke because you tried to fix it. It's Verschlimmbessern in German. Cycles of managers are so fucking predictable. They're new to the position, so they think that they need to put their own stamp on things, so they do. The changes that they make are a replica of what a previous manager put in 4 years ago. Then they get replaced or promoted, and the cycle repeats itself. We just laugh. I'm in the board of a nonprofit that recently had a pretty big turnover, with only myself and another person with significant experience. We have both been there for 6+ years, while all others are brand new or with no more than 2 years. The two of us veterans keep pissing the newbies off when we push back on their amazing new ideas, because we've been there, tried that, and can tell you why it won't turn out the way you think it will. I actually supported one of their proposals last month, and I think I shocked them. I should go post this in our unpopular opinion, but that's why career politicians are good and term limits are bad. You want political leaders who've seen past legislative efforts and learned from them? Most of the common sense ideas that regular folks talk about were also talked about 10, 20, 50 years ago, and there's a reason we don't do it that way today. Sure, sometimes that reason is corruption. I'm not arguing against elections and some fresh faces every election cycle, but experience teaches that experience matters. You shouldn't change anything more than a light bulb till you've observed operations for at least a few months. Management, the only time when doing nothing is worth more than doing something. He expected everyone to keep working, unpaid, during their lunch break because they would be in the middle of something that couldn't be put down. And then he'd get to wag his finger about how lunch breaks are at 12 Hunkwik sharp, no matter what you're doing. So 12 o'clock to 12:30 is unpaid, regardless of whether you spend part of that time working. And then go to his boss and brag about improved productivity without any increase in labor costs. You all did the right thing by instantly dropping all work at exactly 12, regardless of whether that left things unfinished or in the lurch. Off the clock, all off the job. An old friend of mine who has been in many levels of worker to management, most first-line supervisors are pretty stupid. And first-line supervisor can confirm. I know you're making a joke, but if you legit are a first-line supervisor, that attitude and self-deprecating humor probably means you are a legitimately good and better supervisor than the majority of supervisors out there. So feel good about yourself. How do you not spot the problem with this plan immediately when it includes any kind of customer-facing roles? I could see trying to strictly schedule everyone's lunch to ensure coverage, which would suck but at least make some form of sense. But this boss should be fired immediately for gross incompetence. Although they probably won't be around long, I doubt your office is child-proofed, so they'll probably kill themselves by sticking a fork in an electrical socket or accidentally beheading themselves with a paper cutter. Sometimes it's a franchise changeover and you can't simply fire the new boss because they're the new owner. I had that happen many moons ago at Domino's. I was a delivery driver and the new owner ordered like 4x our usual weekly order. Everyone was wide eyes watching the delivery try to fit all the dough in the fridge. Fast forward a week, and the dough had pooled in the trays yet unused, and he threw away a lot of it. Luckily, the toppings we redistributed to other stores, but holy hell, we all saw the mistake, but he thought ordering more would result in more sales or some shit. I also saw him riding a bike to the bank with the deposit bag in hand one night, so not the brightest bulb. I actually drove him there for the safety of the moment. A few years later, we ordered Pizza Hut, and lo and behold, he's the delivery driver. Funny how things work out sometimes. Oh, good, he's learning how things really work. Makes you wonder what they were trying to accomplish by setting a hard and fast rule. They were probably trying to screw people out of their break. Oh, it's noon and I'm busy, I'll just have to work through lunch. That's what they were expecting. Glad it didn't work out that way. Either that or he's tripping over someone stretching lunch over an hour, like 11:35, 12:45 or something. If everyone has the same lunch, he can see if anyone's late getting back easier. There's also the change for change's sake angle. Gotta show upper management that they're doing something or whatever. My company's promotion structure causes this to happen all the time. Some fresh AM comes in and wants to change something for no reason other than showing that they changed something, and it's always for the worse and ends up getting reverted when they move on. God, I fucking hate this shit. I worked at Domino's, and every time we got a new manager, they just had to change the make line because it's better this way. Fuck everyone else who had gotten used to the old one. Fuck the openers who now had to memorize it, and fuck me. I hated it. Change for change's sake is so stupid. Nah, probably not even that. It probably says in some ancient handbook lunch is 12 and half to 1 o'clock. Inexperienced or bad managers like to come in and show everyone who's boss, as opposed to watching and learning the operations for a while before making any changes. Never assume malice when stupidity is much more reasonable. And answer? Never attribute to malice what can be adequately explained by stupidity. Hanlon's Razor, one of my favorite quotes. The lesson here for new managers is don't make any changes for a while. Whatever the reason for the previous person leaving or the position opening up, let the inmates run the asylum for a bit. Learn their habits, their abilities, their commitment, their personalities, etc. Then use that information to adjust schedules, priorities, and responsibilities. Just sit back and observe for a while. Walking in and changing things in the first day/week just reeks of superiority and entitlement. Get to know the company and team before doing a thing other than figuring out where the kitchen and restrooms are. But how else will I flex my power over these peons? Boss says. Push up competition during morning coffee break, obviously. It'll help bigly if you can get Maura and Amy from accounting to wildly cheer for you. Compliance, malicious or otherwise, is not a zero-effort game. This is why companies should promote from within more. A seasoned employee would already know these things as well as the ins and out of the jobs the people they're managing are doing. That works well sometimes, but sometimes people are set in their inefficient ways and promoting them just continues more of the same. When change is really needed, bringing in a new set of eyes can help identify where things aren't working. A lot of workers are not adaptable to change and are not willing to be critical of their own processes, especially when they've been doing the same job for 10 plus years, but businesses need to change with the times, new technologies, etc. You're telling me I'm an engineer for a company, and the projects I have are all making things more compliant with the federal regulations that govern us, so I'm told to develop processes to control access to certain equipment. So safety studies and develop work methods, etc., and people have been doing these jobs for decades. And they don't like me at all because I bring change. But it's just my job function, and I understand it was easier before, but our paychecks are both signed by the guy who gave me this task. Sorry. My manager walked in on his first day and said that union breaks were no longer a thing. Well, I marched up to the union president's office, and she came down and put a boot up his ass. Guess who got their breaks back? Then he tried to mandate when the breaks were. We used to have a just take your break when it's convenient and don't leave the area unmanned policy, but he wanted them mandated to an exact times. So, much like OP, we would put people on hold for 15 minutes if need be, or walk away from conversation. Because 10:15 is exactly 10:15. Some people shouldn't be managers, and most managers go through all 3 envelopes in a month. You can tease some KevinCruz.com, the co, and the 3 envelopes. The way my jaw dropped, that's so good. The heart drop when you read prepare 3 envelopes is that feeling you get when HR messages you out of the blue and asks if you have a minute to talk and your boss is already in the room waiting. The people that want to be managers shouldn't be, and the people that should be don't want to. Accurate? Every now and then, my company will give a non-manager an opportunity to manage a smaller temp project, and it typically goes like this. Non-manager hesitantly accepts opportunity. Non-manager absolutely crushes it. Usual managers get insecure over non-manager success. Usual managers make non-managers' jobs much harder. Non-manager declines future opportunities. I wonder what the manager's reasoning was, and did they not stop to think that if everyone takes off at once, nobody's covering phones? Jesus, how inept. Did they not stop to think, let me stop you right there? It's always the new bosses that have no idea how things work and have even less an idea of what they are doing that want to micromanage people who actually know their jobs and then get surprised when shit hits the fan. I had a similar situation, LOL. We had an unpaid 30-minute lunch break. I lived a couple blocks away, so I always went home for lunch, fed the cats, put my feet up on the couch for a bit. Due to the nature of my job, I couldn't just stop a task at noon on the dot, and we just kind of coordinated with each other to make sure someone was always in the shop to take calls. Everyone always got their break. Everything was working fine. Enter new manager. I got back to the shop at 12:30 and popped out for my unpaid break. We also used time cards, so I clocked out and everything was traceable. All my coworkers knew where I was. I got back to work at 13:00 and got chewed TF out. Written warning. The whole meal deal. I requested the manager's higher up be there for the write-up because I had a lot of questions about our breaks and needed everything to be verified. The meeting was awkward AF. My manager's boss was sending very clear signals that maybe this should just be a casual chat. Nope. My manager doubled down and said my unpaid break was from 12:00 and 12:30, no exceptions. I'm still not entirely sure why he didn't intervene and override my manager's bonehead move. The next day, I was in the middle of a pretty time-sensitive job and the clock hit 12 and I just stopped, put my tools down, and left. I went home and ate my lunch and played with my cats. I came back for 12:30 and my manager was losing it. I told him I'm not being paid from 12:00 to 12:30, so I'm not sure what he wants from me. Before I got written up, I would have seen the job through and just taken a late lunch. But, oh well. 2 days later, a memo was sent out by his boss saying that our unpaid lunches are not strictly enforced and to continue doing what works best for us. My write-up got removed from my record, LOL. It's so wild to me how lower paid workers will look out for the company and try to complete jobs before taking breaks or take care of the customers, even at the expense of having to take a later break. But a manager will come in with these inflexible rules that ignore everything the workers are giving up for the company. Good for you for strictly following orders in order to get your flexibility back. Say hi to your cats for me. Many of us made boneheaded mistakes as first-time managers. The crucial issue is learning and doing better. Sadly, it's not known that much, but when you become a manager or get employed as a manager, The best thing you can do for at least a month is nothing. You should only observe and ask questions to get to know the people, the workflow, the routines. Only then you know enough to try and change things. This should be practiced every time you are new to the team, department, not just the first time you become a manager. Loving my new manager right now, he's doing exactly this, learning what we do and how things operate, and while there are some things that could be changed, he's just relaxing and learning the system and the crew. I'm sure he will make some changes down the road, but he's looking for squeaky wheels and not demanding every wheel gets greased from the start. People get promoted to their level of incompetence. Yes, the famous, but apparently not well known by current managers, Peter Principle. People rise to their level of incompetence, getting promoted until they stagnate at the first level they're incapable of doing.